Hey everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Immortal. This is designed by Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kesling, and it is published by Trick or Treat Studios. But before we talk about that, we just want to remind you to subscribe so you can see all our videos as they come out.
All right, so this game is all about honoring the dead, but honoring them specifically with flowers. We are visiting a cemetery, and we are laying down flowers. But these flowers are supposed to be permanent, right? You lay them down at your own, relatives or friends or whatever's tombstone, but you come back the next day, someone's taken them, but you see them over there. They've been stolen and moved around. So this is a very naughty game where people are stealing flowers from one another at a cemetery, moving things around, but you're also constantly adding flowers as well. The goal is to get rid of all of your flowers, place as many flowers as possible in the cemetery in order to win. All right, so how do you do that? Basically, you have a pool of tiles. And all these tiles are different colors and they're different numbers. They're numbered from 1 to 13 and they come in 4 different colors. Kind of like a deck of cards, right? What's going to happen basically is you are going to have some cards or some tiles that you have access to, other tiles that you do not yet. On your turn, we take an action. And that action can be taking one of your tiles that you already, one of the face down tiles and add it to your active pool that you can actually use. Or what you can do, it's kind of like in a game like Rummy or something like that, you can place down tiles on the board. They either need to be all the same color and sequential in order, or all the same number, but different colors. If that sounds familiar, it's kind of like Quirkle mixed with a little bit of Rummy. So there's kind of a set collection or a number, like a run kind of a thing, mixed in within kind of that Quirkle style of play. And then you kind of play off each other, again, like kind of Quirkle or like Scrabble, something like that, where you kind of laying them out spatially in a way that you never have them contradicting and breaking the rules. All right, so you can either, like I said, lay down tiles, or you can draw new tiles into your pool. If you've ever run out of your tiles in your active pool, you actually get to draw 5 of your your secret cache of tiles. I can't remember what it's called. Instead of just the normal one, which is a great bang for your buck. Or you can also just swap some tiles out. There's 2 of each color and number, and if maybe they don't work for you, or for whatever reason you're fishing for something that you just cannot find, you can swap out, let's say, as many as you want. Say you wanted to get rid of 3 and draw 3 back. You can do that to kind of refresh your hand and see the new numbers and new colors and try to make something happen that you can place more tiles out there. It's kind of a race, so whoever gets rid of their tiles first is declared the winner.
Okay. I thought it was cool how there was that player area and that you were restricted like that. It wasn't free for all. You can't just play everywhere. You are restricted by the grid that you're playing in. You could be the challenge mode or the regular mode that determines how big the grid is depending on which one you want to play. But I just thought that was neat. Like Ryan mentioned, it was kind of like Quirkle, but in Quirkle you build off of it. But this one, instead of building off, you don't have to do that. You just have to play in the grid. So you don't have to build off what's already been built. You can play someplace completely different. But I also like that you're constricted by that grid. I thought that was really neat.
All right, so on your turn, when you actually are laying on the board, you have to declare either a column or a row. So what you're doing by doing that is you can play as much as you want legally in that row, which is really nice. Over here, you might be adding on to, let's say somebody had a 4, 5, 6 in yellow, and you could add on to that and go 7, 8. But then further down over here, someone else has someone in some other row. They have a section of a whole bunch of 3s, and you have a 3 that happens to also be in that same row. Well, you can add a 3 onto that area too. As long as it's in the same row or in the same column, you can place as many legal plays as you can. There's a lot of flexibility. You have to think about it a little bit harder because it's not just maybe one area you're playing in, but it's an entire row. If you can make a legal play happen, it's good to go.
Yeah, and before you play, you can actually take an action called, it's part of playing. You can take an action called rearrange. So you can actually take 5 of the tiles that are already out on the board and rearrange them up to 5 and rearrange them anywhere on the board that's a legal play. So if you need to move something so you can play something and you can move it somewhere, you can 100% do that. So I really like how the board is kind of always shifting a little bit with rearranging and trying to make it to where you can actually put more stuff out there and you're not completely beholden or restricted to what the other players have done.
Which is wild to see that no flowers ever get taken off the board, but the flowers that you placed one turn are not in the same place the next turn potentially, which is really funny from a thematic standpoint. Like, hey man, you took my flowers and you like... That's not cool. All right, so I think this is really fun from a component standpoint. All there is the board and these flower tiles. That's it. There's no frills. There's no score pad. There's no dice, no tokens, no cards, no other bits. It's just the tiles and the board, and that's it. So the setup is super fast. Cleanup is super fast, and you're ready to go, you know? I think that's... I don't mind big, extravagant games that have matching level of components, but at the same time, it's really nice just to be able to just, like, jump right on into a game as well.
Yeah. We've mentioned it a few times, but this game is very similar to Quirkle, if you have ever played Quirkle. If you didn't know, I'm actually not a huge fan of Quirkle. I don't know if we've just played it too many times, if our kids just loved it way too much, and I have moved on from it. So I'm not actually a huge fan of Quirkle, and this did remind me of that. I do enjoy it more. I would be willing to play this one, whereas I'm not really willing to play that other one. So it is definitely, for me, it's better than that, but it's still not something I'm going to gravitate towards. It's something that if somebody wanted to play, I'd be willing to play with them, but I wouldn't necessarily ask for it.
I agree. I mean, I think this theme is really unique and really cool. I like the idea of having this kind of this dark cemetery theme, but also the idea of flowers and beauty within that. That's a cool theme to me. But in reality, it was too abstracted. You didn't really get to experience that. You're just placing colors and numbers out there to try to make it work for points, you know, to get rid of your stuff. It was very simplistic, which, again, I don't have a problem with, except for that the simplicity came from a game... you know, is linked directly to a game that I'm not particularly fond of, like you mentioned. Yeah. It's just too similar to Quirkle. That's it. It's just too similar. They try to do something kind of like rummy-ish or whatever with the runs and the numbers and all that stuff. But honestly, this was a pass for me. I don't need to play this again. I think it's a really cool theme. I'd like to see someone else do something cool with that theme that's not just so abstract and so number-based.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye. You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.